Don't do anything you love.
Yes.
Just not right before bed. Wow, I didn't catch that. I went to hit the button and my finger slipped.
I was ready to go.
Listen, you gotta be.
That's what I missed. Okay.
You gotta be quicker than that. You gotta be less conspicuous. Instead of
gotta-
like everybody ready, it should be.
No, I like
Is
giving
everybody
people,
ready? It's already rolling.
No, I like giving people a fair
You
shot.
gotta be quicker than that. Have you remember
That's
those commercials with the
You gotta
got
be
a dollar.
quick.
yeah
With the little fishing pole.
yeah.
I hated them.
Gotta chase that paper, boys.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Get the bread.
Get that bread. New day.
Secure the bag.
$1 at a time.
And that's the show.
Okay.
Just bad jokes.
There goes the show.
It's early. It's earlier. It's earlier. It's a different day. Yeah. Today's Thursday. Yeah.
Today is Thursday for us.
For us.
Yes.
All right, so this morning on THElife podcast, I think it's almost obligatory that we always have to introduce ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Tyler. That's Benjamin.
Hi.
You can't see on camera, but
The hand.
and that's
hand.
Eric. Yeah, I'm doing hand gestures as we speak.
Say hi,
What's up?
Eric. There you go. So that they know who you are.
Thank you, Benji.
Okay, so this is the podcast that we basically talk about having success in daily life and practical life application. So today we are going to be developing a handful of topics, and we're just gonna throw up a few different things and see where they stick. Centering around setting ourselves up for success and what it is to have a good daily routine.
Yeah, absolutely. Success does not just happen. You have to prepare for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to talk about our perspectives on it and advice on what we do to kind of prepare or what we should do to kind of prepare, because not only we're not just preaching here, we're kind of just talking and learning as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically, God bless you, Tyler, because I'm sure that I got caught on camera. No,
Oh, absolutely.
audio. We're talking about specifically the concept of creating a schedule, creating a routine. Humans are very routine-driven animals. There you go.
Allergy season.
Yeah, Tyler's breaking out in sneezes over there. But humans are routine driven, where we follow routines a lot. We follow the same things again and again, and that's prevalent in our schooling. That's prevalent in our day-to-day structures. We have a morning, an evening, and a night.
Yep.
We go to school. When we go to school for multiple years at a time, our schedules are based off of blocks of time, periods of time. We everything in our history. We look at history. It's based off of blocks of time too, and to develop that into our day-to-day lives and to develop that into what we do in our day-to-day lives is the next logical step. And a lot of people, they create a hatred or a disdain for this scheduled system, and they don't see the power that it has in our day-to-day lives. And if we just start scheduling our lives and we start scheduling the things that we do, it becomes a lot more efficient. And efficiency is always important.
Yeah, it minimizes the amount of wasted time. Because it's so easy to waste time especially when you're not on a routine or a schedule. Before you know it, it's like 10 at night and you've gotten one thing done. And so creating a schedule, having a plan in place, so it helps you with efficiency. So that's important. Also, organization and how you plan, because not everyone schedules the same way. There's a lot of different methods to planning out your day, and a lot of them don't work for me personally. I've tried a lot of different methods, task lists and, actually blocking out your time by the hour, and all these things, they don't always work, so you have to try them out and figure out which one works best for you, because like for me, I on my iPhone, you have the reminders set up, and so I used to use that at one point just to give it a try. And what would happen is my reminders would just go off, and I would just hit close it out immediately, not even look at it, just close it out, just because it's like just another alarm, and I would just close it out without looking at it. And before I knew it, I had tasks on there that were 30 days late, and it's all right, well, this obviously isn't working. So you have to just try a bunch of different things. Some things work better for other people than others. So yeah.
Right, and sometimes it takes a level of discipline too. Like you were saying, sometimes people's schedules aren't the same, and they're not as rigid as others. So like to have just a loose concept of, oh, I need to accomplish X, X, and X throughout the day, and having them there instead of blocking it out every half an hour block, saying, okay, well, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done right away in these small periods of time. And it's like, okay, well, it all depends on what level of discipline you're at or what type of schedule that you really have.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that have to run hard and fast like that. Like, oh, if I don't get this done within an hour, then I have to start cooking the next thing.
It also depends on what your schedule looks like already. You know, we with Eric, you work. This is your job. You know, and being self-employed. For anybody who's been self-employed or has started a small business, you know that scheduling your time is very important because there's no one to tell you how to do your job.
Yeah.
You know, that's the tough part where it's like, okay, when you go to work, and as much as you may like it or may not like it, you have somebody who's directly telling you what to do, and that's a lot more structured than you would imagine.
Yeah.
Like psychologically, there's a structure there just in general. You know, you have a certain set of tasks. You do whatever you do. If you're a machinist, you machine a certain number of pieces. If you do whatever, you're there for a certain amount of time. And that's already blocked out for you. You got a lunch period, you get whatever, you get time to breaks, whatever like that. So your time is already scheduled and blocked out for you, so you don't have to actively think about it. So when you go home, you just do whatever you want because it's not scheduled time. So we're talking about the free time or the excess time, or if you're a self-employed person, your day-to-day time. That's the scope of what we're talking about.
And while we're talking about this, I'm thinking about the kid who cuts my hair. Like, he's part of a barbershop and everything, but I guess, like, the way it works is, like, the barbershop doesn't schedule his appointments. Like, you schedule your appointments. So he's blocked out every half an hour. Most men's haircuts take about a half an hour. So he blocks out every half an hour. He's like, I need to fill every half an hour in my day so that I can maximize as much money. I mean, obviously he's doing different haircuts, but one thing.
Yeah.
Haircut over, next haircut.
Yeah.
Having such a rigid boxy schedule like that, that's fine to be able to maximize productivity. But by the time the day's over, if nobody's scheduled in and he wasn't diligent to have appointments, that's it. Okay, rest of the day's free.
Yeah. And for that kind of job, that works perfectly. I've always wanted to get into that kind of schedule. But I just don't like the rigidness of it personally. It really affects me.
Well, it's easy to just, I mean, it's a mechanical thing to just like bang out a haircut.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain things that are just par.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, oh, it's a standard haircut. Okay, it's not like, oh, I have to be creative or I have to problem solve or do all these things. That gets it a little bit more.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you kind of just opened that up for me. But because what I do is much more creative. So being on a time block, it just puts a lot of like unnecessary pressure on yourself. And all of a sudden, like, oh, whoa, I have 50 minutes to get this done. And all of a sudden you start feeling like this weird pressure. Obviously, you want to get it done in the best time possible, but having it completely rigid like that isn't always healthy. But having that time after work, that's the time that gets you to your goals. You know what I mean? Unless like what you're doing right now is already a dream job and this is where you are, then whatever that time you do afterwards is everything that makes you happy. Either way, that's very important to block off. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't necessarily think that, and they just, it's just whatever they do at work is what they do at work. But after work, it's just like, whatever, I'm just gonna pass my time the way I want to pass my time because this is my time to chill. And when that happens, you get almost a sense of unproductivity, and you probably don't even understand why you're having that feeling. But it's because you get off of work and you feel productive all day at work because someone is guiding you through that. But as soon as you're off, it's like, I'm just going to play video games all day.
Right. That's exactly where my brain defaulted. I'm just going to go sit at home, chill, and smoke weed and play video games all day.
Yeah, until I have to go back to work tomorrow.
That's it.
And then, or you cruise through the entire weekend just doing that,
And again, that's a choice that you have to make. There's nothing necessarily wrong with doing that. It's just now you have to make the decision that it says, okay, there's no productive output from this block of time.
Yep.
It's like there's nothing wrong with spending 4 hours of your day wanting to do nothing. It's just that you have to accept that those 4 hours produce nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're okay with that, that's fine. Like you go on vacation, the thing that's producing is an internal release of stress. That's all that a vacation is, or that's the goal of a vacation. If you want to go have fun, whatever. It's if you block out, like, let's say your work week is 8 hours a day, and then you go and you do nothing for 4 hours a day. If that's the way that you want to spend your 4 hours, that's fine. But don't then go and say, I'm not making progress towards my goals. If you're quote unquote, we're not going to use the term wasting, but you're allocating 4 hours of your day to a system that's not productive towards your goal.
Yeah. And coming from life experience, sometimes you have to find those, I guess, like a double whammy or like a two-edged sword. You know, it's like, okay, well, I'm being unproductive, but at the same time, I'm still being productive. And you could say, well, what does that mean? That's really vague. Something like a personal decision I made was to cut out TV a long time ago. Instead of sitting there watching TV, I mean, sometimes you can get some decent information from TV, but most of the time it's Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not benefiting much of anything.
I benefit from that TV show.
Wow. Yes.
I don't know. It's probably a better joke in my head than it was.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know the show at all.
Try again. But so the personal decision I made was, okay, well, I'm going to cut out TV so that when I do have leisure time, I'm forced into other more profitable leisure activities for myself. Well, what do you mean? I will go and recreationally, I won't practice, but I will recreationally play music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this rigid, just repeating patterns over and over again, or like there are certain practice techniques that you can employ there. It's like, okay, we'll just go play and have fun. But you're still practicing. You're still getting that musical input. You're still working and developing that place of your brain. Or go read.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's something else, like reading really stimulates your brain and helps for intellectual growth.
Yeah, and this is specifically directed to people who want to do more, and they feel like, they feel like I don't have enough time in the day. If you feel like you don't have enough time in the day, you're probably spending at least 1 hour of your day doing something that isn't the most productive. You could be allocating that hour in a different way. Or even if it's a half hour, whatever you have, there's always something. Time isn't something that you get, it's something that you make. So if you have to make time for the things that are important to you. So if success is important to you, or if starting your own business is important to you, or if spending time with your family is important to you, you have to make the time to make that happen. No one's going to do that for you, and life definitely isn't going to do it for you. You have to take the discipline, like Tyler said earlier. It takes discipline to actually put that forth and make time for it.
Mm-hmm. We had an earlier show talking about light bulbs. I mean, I know you had a thought, so you.
Oh yeah, the concept of light bulbs, where it's like you have to turn one thing down to turn something else up. You know, you only have a certain amount of energy, you only have a certain amount of light, and that's really what the concept is where it's like you can work harder than everybody else. There's this guy called Ryan Serhan. He's a real estate broker in Manhattan. He has a TV show, I think, or something like that. Nonetheless. He said something very important where it's like, if everybody wakes up at 8 a.m. and you want to be better than them, wake up at 7.
Yeah.
Or wake up at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's the thing. It's not comfortable. Trust me. It's not comfortable to wake up at 7, or it's not comfortable to wake up at 6. But eventually your body will get used to it because it becomes the status quo. It's like, if you think that you don't have any time and you're spending 10 hours a day sleeping, you can very easily cut 2 to 3 hours of that away.
I was listening to my friend Curtis Hall last night. He had a little youth group meeting, and he was talking to the kids in that meeting, and he was saying, the average Facebook user will average about 6 hours a day, up to 6 hours a day using Facebook, and they're like, that's extreme. Like, what do you mean? He's like, all the little couple minute spans. You pull out your phone every 50 times a day, and you look at Facebook for 3 minutes 50 times a day. That adds up.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, well, where does all my time go? Ta-da! 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. I mean, what's 3 minutes times 50?
1,500.
1,500.
150.
150.
150 minutes.
It's
So that's
early.
almost-
It's early. Please
it's-
forgive
it's
us.
a while, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost 3 hours.
Yeah, right there, and that's and there's people out there that do it for a little bit longer than 3 minutes. You know, sometimes it's 3 minutes, sometimes it's 17. You know, and that's going into like self-employment. That was an issue at first because I was still on social media heavily, and then before you know it, you're in your day to day. And you're working, at least you're supposed to be, but you find yourself kind of just always doing that. You know, pull out your phone every few minutes and looking at the next update. And that was definitely difficult to try to understand why I was doing it. I had to like leave my phone like away from me. Like I would leave it at home, then go to the studio and just be as far away from it as possible. So just so that I wouldn't get back into that habit. So it's those little things like that is what spends your time. It's that this screens will take away your time, period. Whether you're using it for productivity or entertainment. It is taking away your attention, which takes away your time, and you have to be very aware of where it's going, or else you can lose hours upon hours a week without even knowing.
Absolutely. So we're gonna take a quick little break, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about the concept of screens and how screens affect our day-to-day lives and how they're taking our attention and our schedule away.
All right, stay tuned. Tangerines are a great fruit.
Tangerines was such a random thing.
It's so random. We weren't even
Okay.
talking about tangerines,
Yeah.
but
We weren't even talking about fruit. Okay, fair enough. We were talking about phones and screens and stuff, though. So there you go. There's your segue.
I don't have an apple, guys. I got a tangerine.
there it is.
Wonderful. There's your segue. But we were talking before the break about the concept of the screens and how the screens are taking our attention away and everything like that. And it's so true. It's so prevalent in day-to-day culture where it's like the how often we use our phones, how often we use the devices around us, and we get addicted to them. That's an addictive thing. But that concept is a different topic. What we're talking about today is the idea of being aware of where we spend our time and how to schedule our time. And we can't get mad at ourselves for not being productive if we're not looking at the things that are taking away the productivity. You know, it's like we have to first, step one in fixing this problem is realizing what's pulling the most things away from us, the most time away from us. And if we're spending 2 or 3 hours a day passively on our devices, that's a major player in our day-to-day lives. You know, if you spend 8 hours at work and 2 or 3 hours dispersed in and out on our cell phones or on our devices, we have to realize that that's a key player in all of this.
A side note about like screen time and everything. It's such a prevalent problem within our generation and within our culture now. I went out to dinner to one of my favorite sushi restaurants on Monday with my friend, and I was sitting in a place where I could see this family who they all went out to dinner. It was like a husband and wife and like a son and a daughter. And they were sitting there. The husband was just like looking around. The wife was just kind of looking around too. And both kids, I mean, the whole entire time were glued into their phones. And I mean, yeah, we know it's a problem. People point it out all the time. Nobody's spending quality time together. But one of the things that we need for great success and to be able to feel fulfilled in life is to have fulfilling relationships. And we said, okay, well, I spent this meaningful time with somebody, but it's like we spent it glued to our phones.
Yeah.
And we allow this screen time addiction to suck all of the important moments out of our life. Like, that could be a wonderful moment. I was sitting there. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to go out and eat sushi and just enjoy.
Yeah.
And to be there in the atmosphere and really, like, I mean, they got a sushi boat and everything, which is one of the most like interesting things to look at. Like, there's so much sensory stimulation in Japanese food, whether it comes to the presentation or all the different flavor combinations that come together. When you have like really good Japanese food, you know, they really stress that stuff. And it's like you have this wonderful atmosphere and moment that you can be enjoying with your family and interacting and I keep wanting to say intriguing, but basically that's not the right word, obviously. But you basically, there's an exchange going on between you all instead of, okay, I'm on Facebook. Oh, that sushi boat's really cool. Take a picture. Oh, I'm gonna text all my friends. Oh, isn't this so good? But like, you're not actually enjoying that moment.
Yeah.
And I know that's kind of a rant off, but
No, there's a psychological aspect to that, and I don't. This isn't a psychological podcast, but we talk about it a lot. But it's based off of that concept where it's like we have stimulation in that world around us. Some of which resounds with us, some of it doesn't. Some of it hits the mark for us specifically. Something that works for me might not work for you, and that's just the day-to-day lives around us. That's why we get bored. That's why we get excited. That's the psychological aspect of it. But the thing is that cell phones and tablets and all of these things create psychological things tailored to you, and it's not only tailored to you, it's also maximum output tailored to you. So it's not only like hitting the bullseye, it's hitting the bullseye every single time you interact with it. And there's nothing else in our lives that really does that thing that well. We usually get bored with certain things, no matter how happy you are with a certain thing. Like, let's say you really like chocolate. If you eat chocolate enough for long enough, you'll eventually get tired of it. But the thing is that cell phones and tablets, they're dynamic and they change, and before you can even start to get bored of it, something else comes out and something changes it. And that's why they're so dangerous, because they're just a consistent output of exactly what your brain wants.
Yeah. Accessibility too. I mean, when I was a kid, I'd be at the restaurants with my parents. The only thing I wanted to do was go home and go have fun. You know what I mean? Play with my toys or play video games, whatever it is. Like, I don't really care where I'm at, but I had nothing to really take me away from it. So I would sit there and I would be there. But now with the accessibility of the kid can literally just pull out a cell phone, I would probably be in the same boat as a kid. I can't say that the kids are wrong for that. But it is something that you have to be, as a parent, like, very involved with. Like, you have to make it a point that, like, this is family time. You're on your phone at any point in the day. You're gonna have to give up about an hour of your day to just enjoy the family, because it's so important to have that social face-to-face interaction, because you're on your phone at the end of the day when you're texting people about all this stuff, and you're on social media, you're looking for social interaction. So subconsciously you have
a perfect family sitting right there.
Yeah. And like, that digital conversation will never be the same as a face-to-face interaction. You're just not going to capture the actual face-to-face emotions and everything that goes on between two humans when you're in close contact like that. It's just very, very intimate is the word, but not like in a weird way, but it's just how the conversation goes. And our bodies as human beings yearn that. We are social beings. That's how we've gotten this far in society, is through social interaction and social media definitely connects us with a much larger audience than we ever would have had, but each individual interaction is nowhere near how personal an interaction could be with a person in front of you.
And it's our generation that's suffered from it more so than anything, that we're actually pioneering this and we're exploring this from the get-go. Our parents didn't have this. Even Generation X didn't really have this. Us growing up until we were the nominal age 12, 13, 14, none of what we're into now really even existed. I think I was like 15 when the first like iPhone and iPod Touch came out. So this is all really, really new. So these screen addiction problems and these interaction problems really they stem here and they start here and they haven't been explored fully yet. So most people don't understand the consequences of here kids, shut up and use the phone. But yet we have such a higher level of depression and suicide and all these other things that stem from screen addiction or even sleeplessness. Now, trying to shift back into creating healthy routines and daily routines, a lot of the show was inspired by, we talked on the show, and Benjamin and I, we were part of a morning show, as we've mentioned, for 157 episodes, and one of our mottos, I guess, was like starting our day right so that we ended our day right. And God gave us 24 hours in a day to be able to accomplish everything that we have to accomplish. And we've talked about, okay, start your right routines, make your bed. When you wake up in the morning, make sure you brush your teeth, take care of what you need to take care of. Something that I was kind of kicking around and thinking about that I put in the show notes that kind of sparked this conversation was set yourself up for success for the next day. A lot of times we think about, okay, I need to wake up, make my bed, pick my clothes, do all these things. It's like, okay, yeah, those are healthy and they set you up for the rest of the day. But now set yourself up for tomorrow. Before you go to bed, have a healthy routine. Calm down, relax for a half an hour. Things to do before going to bed. Actually, I think I have something saved on my phone. Maybe we'll take that out to finish out our last segment. But basically, they say that you need to have structure before you go to bed too, so that your brain knows and you get the right triggers going to say, okay, now it's time to go to sleep. A big problem with sleeplessness is people laying in bed using their phones. You get mentally stimulated by pictures, images, dopamine. Dopamine will get you excited to keep you awake. Even if you're reading a boring article or you're doing these things, just those flashing lights on such a human level, they will keep you up. Or you get sucked into one of those stupid Facebook rabbit trails. I mean, Facebook is so dangerous when it comes to that. I got sucked into one the other day for like half an hour. I said, no. And that's that's the beauty between YouTube and Facebook too. Like, YouTube's algorithm is less geared towards sucking you into a rabbit hole versus
actually what you would want to watch.
Facebook is so much more dangerous. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's what Tyler said there was the concept of like everybody gets 24 hours, and being able to keep those things, like to keep that concept in mind and like scheduling out, realizing what is affecting your day-to-day life. Tyler was talking about the concept of the Facebook timelines and the YouTube algorithms and everything like that. They're all geared to keep you in. And there's nothing wrong with going on those things. It's just realizing that time is being utilized in that way. That's the core concept. We're not here to tell you how to live your life. We're saying just be an active participant in it. When you look around, everybody has 24 hours. Every human on earth has 24 hours in every single day.
Yep.
How does that person become more efficient than I am? How does my brother become more efficient than I am?
Why am I not sleeping enough? Why is this so much harder for me? Yeah. I went to bed at 10 o'clock. Yeah, but you fell down a Facebook rabbit hole in bed and you couldn't fall asleep until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
And from I did read an article. It was a doctor that wrote it, and it was just about this, what screen time does at night when you're trying to go to bed. So apparently your phone and your television, it gives off a certain light.
Blue.
So and it replicates daylight. And when your eyes see that, it actually keeps you awake because your mind is, your eyes are taking in like it's actual daylight out, but it's really pitch dark, but it's just the light from your phone illuminating on your face or the TV that's on in the background, whatever it is, that keeps you awake. Yes, you can fall asleep while it's on, but it'll take you longer to. So that doctor that I read in the article recommended an hour of like before you're going to go to bed, just turn off every screen and you'll fall asleep much easier.
And something like that too. I had a couple of things as you were saying that was really stimulating. Something like that light tricking your brains. Think about like when people have like parrots or birds or whatever, they put the sheet over the cage.
Yeah.
And then because they don't really see daylight. It's like, oh, it's nighttime. Good night. I'm gonna stop squawking.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same
idea. Yeah.
At like I guess a primal level. But we can see also too. What was I gonna say besides that? That was just the funny side. Anyways, come back to me.
So really, all of this conversation really leads back to what we were talking about at the beginning. It's just being aware of your schedule. So step one. So okay.
No. If you have that developed,
I've now forgotten what I was going to say.
Yes, I win. Talking about now falling asleep to screens and audible stimulation like that too. Your sleep isn't as good when you do fall asleep, and you're actually being stimulated while you sleep. If you have TV going on in the background,
absolutely.
there are things that will they will influence you as you sleep, regardless of what you think. And I don't want to get into Alex Jones and subliminal messages and conspiracy theories, but that is a proven fact that whatever you're listening to, you are passively ingesting all of that while you're sleeping.
Yeah, you're meditating on it.
Regardless if you think that you were or not. You actually are. And your sleep patterns will be affected by it. Say you're watching like a Western movie and you have Western movies on loop as you're sleeping. If there's exciting parts, your brain is going to be stimulated and actually like get out of REM. Yeah. Because it's being stimulated and excited, like, oh, I need to run away. Like there's subconscious things that gunshots do to you. There's subconscious things that horses being startled will do to you and your body.
Absolutely. You know, your brain is doing more work when you're sleeping than when you're awake. But that's a much deeper concept than a lot of people care to talk about. But it's important to realize that all of these things have psychological effects on you. Everything that you interact with and everything that you do in your life affects our day-to-day lives, and it affects the way that we process information. It affects the way that we go about doing things, and it's a compound interest system. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to do this thing one time and it's going to fix every issue that I've had in my whole life. It's like doing something causes deep recesses, and it causes consistent. You do it again and again and again, and that affects the way that you do things in the future. You know, we talk about habits and we talk about the ways of doing things, and when you're listening to this, you may want to make a change in those things and realize that it's like we said before. You don't make one effort and then it all fixes itself. It's a process, and we have the ducks, and we're going to come back in the next segment and we're going to talk about it. But the concept is always, you're going to have to make a change slowly in your life. It's not just, oh, I'm going to throw my phone away and everything's going to be okay, because your brain's going to want that stimulation and it's going to find it some other way.
Yeah.
It's actively making a decision. I'm going to dedicate X amount of time towards this thing. I'm going to dedicate X amount of time towards that thing. And we'll discuss the practical application of that when we come back.
Perfect. Stay tuned.
You shouldn't just ask. You should just do. You gotta be less polite with that.
That goes against everything I've learned.
Listen, but that's how you're gonna get the gold. It's funny when we have like a show like this, like you have that mental switch, like, oh, now we're rolling. Hey guys.
Hey. No, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I feel like it's so rude to just roll in and start recording people without like actually making eye contact. That's like go to hit the button.
Eric, you have my express permission to.
We're gonna start catching some strange stuff.
I say you just record everything.
That's it, and then just come
breaks.
That's a lot more work after.
Fair enough. Nonetheless, we're back. We're here. We're talking about schedules.
You have to.
Does that sound lazy on my part? I think it did. It's a lot more work on my part.
No, you got to manage your time well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's it. Modern problems require modern solutions.
That's right.
Good
Teach
job.
hoarders, get hoarders addicted to crack so they sell all of their possessions. Moral of the story.
What?
Oh yeah, you showed me that meme a while back. That is one way to do it. You know what I mean? That's how you solve hoarding.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
The practical application of our topics.
Hey, listen, the truth hurts. But lies only propose the inevitable.
So Tyler ended up on his phone going through memes
Postpone.
during the break.
Whatever. They post Malone.
Post Malone.
He was born in 1995.
Such a glorious individual.
Anyways, all right. So getting back to whatever we were talking about. We were talking about building routines. We've talked a lot about starting our day up for success, and also practical life application. Ending our day or setting ourselves up for success for the next day, because a lot of times we like to just go to bed, or we will have a hard time going to bed because we just have this amazing day or this crazy day, and then it's like the bombshell blew off, like it blew up in our face, and you just lay down in bed and it's like, oh god, it's over.
Yeah.
And then you wake up tomorrow still all shell-shocked and burned from that bombshell going off. Yeah. It's like, well, okay, well, now I got to expect myself to just be able to do it again.
Yeah, you're just continuing the same problem from yesterday. I mean, I guess we'll start from the first spot, whether you're self-employed or you work a job, is when you end your day, your working day, just make sure wherever you work, your working station is clean. You know, that's step one, so that when you do come to work the next day, you don't start off on the bad foot where you're just like, now you're aggravated because now you have to clean up everything you left there but yesterday, and that's just not the best way to start your day. So I say that's number one. And you're ending your day is make sure that your workstation, if whether you're self-employed or whether you work at a job that requires you to have a desk or whatever it is, clean it up before you go. Just take the extra 5 minutes that day instead of taking the 5 minutes in the morning. You'll thank yourself later.
And it'll be definitely less discouraging. There's a minor thing. It's not a perfect science, but a lot of times you can tell about the mental state of somebody by how they keep their natural environments, their working environments, and the environments that they live in. If your brain is content in a mess and in chaos,
I don't think anybody
it's because it's your internal. Oh yeah, there are people who are. Their internal is matching their external.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a mirror image of what is going on in my brain right now.
I guess what I meant when I said I don't think there's anybody who's productive in that environment.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, but there are people that are content with it. Like they don't even realize that that's going on.
It's like having a lawnmower with a clogged fuel filter, clogged air filter. But yeah, it still can mow.
Yeah, it's proven that like a clean workstation, like a white desk, working on a white desk with nothing on it, and you only whatever it is that you would like on a laptop, it's proven that you'll be much more productive because there's no distractions. There's nothing that your peripherals are going to see that kind of takes your mind away. And that's important is you have to take away all the distractions when you're working. So yeah, no, that's good.
I like that too. You got
it's
something?
also it's also not compounding that interest on top of itself. So it's like if you it's kind of like cash flowing your productivity. If you're already if you end the day and you have a deficit, you start with a dirty desk the next day. You're already leveraging today's productivity to clean up yesterday's mess.
Right behind the 8 ball.
Yes, and then you're going to cause yourself so that's a perpetual system where it's like you're going to leave a mess today for tomorrow and you're leveraging tomorrow's productivity for today. And that's not a healthy situation to do because you're consistently in a productivity state of debt, which isn't healthy.
Yeah. When I was walking away to go grab coffee, I did hear Tyler say something about like having a bottle of water at your bedside before going to bed. I think that's huge too.
Do you want to go?
Oh, there's actually a list.
Yeah, I got a small list here.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna say the importance of the water bottle, which I like. I was just kind of like, that's stupid at first. But what it really does is like when you wake up in the morning, whether you feel it or not, after sleeping for 8 hours, you're dehydrated. And the worst thing that you can do after that, which I'm guilty of, is drink coffee as your first drink because it's a dehydrating drink.
I feel personally attacked and triggered at the moment.
We're going to get demonetized, which we never got monetized. But anyways, Benji's face of disapproval is perfect.
Don't speak that. Keep going. Come on. What do you got?
Having that bottle of water rehydrates you, and it actually wakes you up more than the coffee will if you make that your first drink before the coffee, because then it kind of just, and your organs will thank you because you're giving it that hydration that it needs to kind of wake up. So that'll be your first drink, which wakes you up, which makes you feel more active and more aware and more... there's another word that I'm looking for that I can't come with, but whatever.
More like cognitive?
Yeah, that works. But yeah, you're just much more quick to it, and so that's huge to have the water. It's something that I'm still working on a habit and putting into my morning routine.
I'm gonna adopt that right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna pound a bottle of water.
Yeah, the easiest way to do it is just
once I wake up every
put
morning.
the bottle at your bedside the night before, so that it's just the first thing you see when you wake up. And
a lot of times, I end up drinking probably like a full bottle of water at night. Like I'll wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just
downing
it.
Be
thirsty.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to give your body the resources that it needs. You know, if you were to give a carpenter no wood, and a carpenter was to come to you and say, I can't build a shed because I don't have any wood, you'd completely be like, oh, like that's logical. Of course, you can't build a shed without any wood. But when it comes to our bodies, we don't give it any of the resources that it needs, and then it goes and it cries, and we're like, body, why are you not doing the things that you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's like, because you give me none of the resources that I need to do the things that I need to do. And I'm not saying that I'm the best nutritional person in the world, but it's like giving your body the basic things that it needs for day-to-day life is important. Like drink some water, like, you know, actively participate in your nutritional life, you know, like eat more than once a day. You know, it's like
but that's so
things.
true. I was talking with Peter yesterday, and I've come to the huge realization. We were talking about it. It's like to be able to stabilize your moods and everything. Like I get hangry. Absolutely, that Snickers commercial hangry. It's a real thing. I have a hard time making rational, logical decisions or being able to control my emotion if I'm very, very hungry.
Yeah.
And I can feel it coming. And I know it's like, listen, guys, I just need to eat right now so that I can be able to make a rational decision or not just be this absolute animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it sounds so basic. Like, oh yeah, eat more than once a day, maintain your diet, and drink water. It sounds so basic, but like when you're going through your day to day, as we all know, sometimes it kind of gets put away in the wayside. You know, especially for me when I'm working and I get stuck in 4 or 5, sometimes 8-hour sessions straight, and you know I don't technically have a lunch break. You know, so I'm just working, and it's whether did I plan for this beforehand? Did I eat a good meal beforehand, or am I gonna have to interrupt it? But it comes to a point where I get that hangry feeling, and I'm just not making any decisions clear. And so I have to be like, all right, I'm just gonna go get something. But like that's not healthy to get your body to that point, you know, and then get angry because you feel like exhausted all of a sudden. Because like when you let your body dehydrate, there are side effects. You know what I mean? When you starve yourself, there are side effects. Exhaustion is one of them.
Yeah.
You feel like you want to go take a nap in the middle of the day now, you know, and you're like, why am I always tired? I slept, or you just didn't sleep, you know, that could be a reason too. But all this stuff, if you start to maintain the little things, it's like a car. You gotta do the oil changes. You have to change the tires. You have to do all the little things so that you make the car last longer.
Absolutely.
You know, and you have to take care of your body the same way so that you can last longer.
And we're not even saying, a lot of times, I mean, I see this within my generation and the generations below. It's like I wake up, I have an iced coffee for breakfast, and then like I didn't eat anything, or I had like a mini McDonald's salad for lunch.
I love
and
the
then,
voice.
well, I mean, you have to get it. 'Cause a lot of girls, especially like victims of this, like they don't eat well, and then it's like you wonder why your moods are all over the place, or you wonder why you're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah. I mean, it goes both ways. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been victim to it. So, I mean, I can't go. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a huge part, is just eat consistently, sleep consistently, try to the best of your ability be like, okay, within these marginal bounds, and you can know your body too. It's not the same for everybody. I mean, for a time I programmed myself where I could run on a nominal 5 hours of sleep. 6 hours was like 6 hours of sleep was Taj Mahal. I'd wake up and start running laps.
Yeah.
There are physical results to all of these things, you know, and Tyler said something that's very important, which is consistency. Consistency is the core concept for all of this. That's if you're scheduling, that's if you're eating, that's if you're drinking water, that's whatever. It's you doing it one time does not fix the problem. Doing anything one time doesn't fix any issues. It's doing it consistently.
Yeah.
It's not one day I'm super high tide, one day I'm super low tide, one day I'm whatever. It's like that's not how this system works. It's if you want to see a nominal result, you have to actively do something again and again and again. And that's, I'm going to set a schedule. That's great. Don't do it one day, say I didn't accomplish everything that I wanted to do, and never make another schedule.
Or even a week. A lot of people be like, I'll give it a week.
Yeah.
And it's like you did it a little bit in the week. We talked about it takes at least 21 days to make or break a habit. And that's being as hardcore proactive as you possibly can 21 days. Sometimes it takes longer because you were inconsistent in that process.
Yeah, I'm about to say a cuss word that a lot of people don't like, and it's commit.
Oh yeah.
You have to commit. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
It's just
Fecklessly commit. Samantha B. Thank you.
But you just have to. It is like, and that's hard to do. A lot of people have this crazy fear against committing to something because for whatever reason, everyone has their own reason. But
if you like it, put a ring on it.
That's it. And
I know a guy.
We know a guy.
Yeah. No, but that's so true, and it's so important to realize that that's a commitment thing.
All right, we got 5 minutes.
We play the game, like we observe all of this stuff. There's theories about all of these things. Why do you think that everything has achievements? Why do you think that all these games have daily rewards?
Yep.
It's because you have to show up every single day. Like you do like any regiment is daily based. It's because it has to be daily things. So it's like if you decide I'm going to make a schedule. So you decide I'm going to do something. I'm going to dedicate X amount of time towards my project. Let's say you want to dedicate 1 hour a day towards your goal, whatever your goal is, selling chairs. Dedicate that time to do that thing and do it every single day.
Yep.
And then do it until it becomes part of your day-to-day routine, where it's like an hour, whenever you miss an hour, you feel weird about it. And if you miss an hour during this developmental stage, do it again. just keep up with your schedule, because a lot of people do a schedule, they're perfectly fine until they miss one day, and then they're like,
Right.
well, I've done this for 30 days, but I missed one day, so I guess it's worthless now. So I guess I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the most relatable thing that most people have gone through is going into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just exactly what happens. You
Whoa,
commit,
whoa,
you
whoa,
commit,
whoa,
you commit.
Whoa. Whoa.
Did I trigger something else?
I don't go to the gym. Oh, I thought that was a joke. I was like, I thought Tyler was going to make this massive joke. No, he just actually was impressed with what Eric said.
No, I actually I was not. I felt very personally attacked
Oh, well, that's
on all
unfortunate.
fronts by Eric this morning.
Man, there was one time, and I'm gonna tell a personal story that's gonna really,
Bring us home.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
I
don't know.
We got 3 minutes.
I don't
and
know
I
if it's gonna
want
bring
to
us
go through the rest of the
Absolutely,
rest of the list,
it'll be
so-
quick. So I was going to the gym like consistently. Like it was like a 5-week period where it was like it was the most consistent I had gone to the gym, and I was so proud of myself. And then we go. It was like 2 years ago. We go to Thanksgiving, and it was like, all right, we're gonna take Thanksgiving break. And they both got their arms crossed.
No,
looking at me.
I'm just sitting here. Tyler's the one who thinks I'm offended. Like,
So Thanksgiving breaks comes, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna get right back to it right after Thanksgiving. We're gonna take the next couple of days off.
That's what they all say.
I
That went
still
well.
haven't gone back.
yeah.
It's been like 2 years. So
I'm gonna hold on. Wait. I was paying for a gym membership for like
I
6
still
months, okay? And I was waiting for the deadline so that I didn't pay the renewal fee. So I show up right before, and he's like, "Oh, your deadline to cancel is after the renewal fee. So it's cheaper for you to just cancel now than it is for you to wait till the time that there's no fee to cancel."
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was if I had to be charged to cancel, I would have canceled 6 months ago. They not only charge you to start, they charge you to end. Never mind. Okay, continue with it.
that's a whole
I
nother
don't
thing.
like. It's not the point of the gyms. It's how much they charge you, and it's like I pay you so much money, and you still try to get me for more.
Well, exercise is good. It is.
Yeah.
As much as we're playing around right now,
You have to
exercise is
physically
good.
exhaust
Go
your
run
body.
around the block. Don't pay the gym fee.
Yes. Get a giant hamster wheel in your house.
Just do something. We go by like
This
if you
show
live
is
in
sponsored
a
by Planet Fitness.
if you yeah absolutely. If you
All right, 140.
if you live in a warm area, go run around. Don't buy a gym membership.
All right, so getting these last things done, because we set ourselves up for success when we go to bed.
Yeah.
That is a big thing. Being consistent and getting into that routine of doing the same thing, your brain and body will recognize it's time to go to bed now.
Yep.
If you go to bed consistently at the same time, your brain will say, "Oh, it's time for bed now."
Yep.
Or like, okay, so I start doing a lot of these things. You can prepare for tomorrow. Write down a list. Say tomorrow now this is before you go to bed. Make a brain dump sheet. I need to do this, and this.
Keep it short. Keep it like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you
Well,
don't.
I mean, if you have
you
a-
don't want to be overwhelmed in the morning.
But if you have a lot of things in your brain, you have to like dump them out on the piece of paper. So you say, okay, I'm not gonna like. My brain will wake me up and say, "Oh, you forgot about this. You forgot about that. You forgot about this. What about this?" Whatever comes to your brain, write it all down.
Okay.
Just so it's there on the piece of paper.
And side note for this, there was a time in my life that I was like I would be completely fine, and then I'd hit the bed, and then my head would just go and talk about all these random things that I have to do tomorrow or today or whatever, and it's like I have no more time to do anything. And that's really what got me out of it, was this concept of like, I'm not going to do anything right now. No one's awake right now. We're not going to fix this problem right now. So deal with it tomorrow. Like, and I think that was a really important step for me, where it was all like, don't worry about this now. There's nothing you can change right now. So worry about it when you can change it.
Yep.
All right, so these evening routine things, preparing for tomorrow, dumping out your brain, getting everything ready and set up for tomorrow. Part of preparation would be picking out your clothes for tomorrow. One less decision to have to make in the morning
that's
to
big.
throw you off balance so that you can just stay clear, calm, and focused. Read for 15 minutes, which that's huge. That will put a lot of people to sleep. Maybe wait until
Yeah.
and eventually your brain will trigger and be like, oh, it takes me 15 minutes to read. But if you're one of those people where you get so engaged in a book, that might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
But
it
it
eliminates the screen.
Yes.
So that your mind still knows, because like a regular light bulb doesn't give off that same daylight. So you can read and you'll get tired as you read, and you still get that entertainment you're looking for,
So that's like
depending on the book.
that's like
Depending on the light bulb.
What do we call that? I'm using the wrong terminology there. That's like methadone for screen addiction. Yes,
There we go.
absolutely. Okay, so let me.
Solving problems.
I have no idea.
Yes. Put a glass of water or a water bottle beside your bed.
Yep.
It's good, just in case you wake up.
To knock it off the nightstand.
Yes.
like, just-
Add one more problem to your collection.
To your morning.
Yeah, nothing's worse than breaking a glass in the morning.
Sometimes it's really good to reflect on your day too. What was good, what wasn't good. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like to go back and say,
Journaling.
what did I?
If you'd like to journal,
Yes.
yeah, that would be a good way to do that. I think it's good to reflect on your days.
It's a way to get it out too. It's the same as that
Yeah.
list, that brain dump. It's like, okay, everything that happened today, instead of laying back on regret, you write it all down on a piece of paper.
That's
You
big.
don't come back to it because you
Yeah.
expressed it.
Yeah, journaling helps a lot of people. I don't know how I feel about it personally, but I'm sure that it helps a lot of people.
I've never successfully journaled, but
I tried.
a couple times.
Honestly,
for a while.
I'm not well, I guess we're all not journalers too, but there are people that
yeah,
it does
if
work.
if that's your
Well,
thing, then
So I tried for a while when I was going through like a tough period of time. So I tried to journal everything just to be able to see it,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that period of time ended, the journaling also ended. I don't even know if I have those journals anymore.
Actually, I'm an advocate for you guys have both been to my house, and I don't know if I've showed you yet, but I'm an advocate for unconventional journaling. Eric's seen
the calendars.
I use calendars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
you've mentioned this.
the amount of information you can fit in one calendar day box is enough to be able to journal back and
That's
look
huge.
back and be like, oh, this happened on this day. Oh, this was I would write down even like good day or this. Like I mean vague things like you can look back and be like,
Yeah.
wow, I did have good days.
Yeah.
Or this happened then, or this happened. It's like, wow, I would have totally forgot about that rather than my life sucks. I don't want to come back to it.
Yeah.
I already
Yeah.
extended our time 2 minutes, guys, so we really have to wrap
I
this
was saying,
show
I
up.
thought I heard the ducks, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So reflecting on your day, drink tea, chamomile tea.
For sleeping.
If
Okay.
you it will naturally help your body sleep. But if you can sit down that half an hour before you go to bed or an hour before you go to bed and create that routine of, okay, when I drink this cup of tea, that's gonna be a physical signal to my body to say, hey, listen, chill.
Yeah, it's a physical connection between the mental state. I don't necessarily know if it's anything to do with the
No, chamomile
tea.
helps you go to sleep too. But at the same time, that connection of sitting down, it's like somebody after a hard day's work and sitting down and drinking a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, my day's
know I'm
my
done
day's
now.
over now.
Same
I can
psychological concept.
Yes. And I think that was it. Oh, do something you love. But I don't encourage that thing from this pre-cooked list.
Don't do anything you love.
Yes.
Just not right before bed. 'Cause
Well, it has a picture and it's like pointing to a guitar. Don't play guitar before you go to bed because somebody like me, I will not go to bed.
yeah.
I will be way too mentally stimulated to go to bed.
Yeah, and these are all very basic things, and it's not. I mean, if you could do them all at once, go for it. But I don't recommend it.
Yes,
It's
drink tea, play guitar, and journal with your toes
These
all
are-
at the same time.
These are
Tonight.
generalizations.
Yeah, these-
so take with a grain of salt.
Yeah, these are just ideas and our perspectives on it, and pick one and see how it helps. I mean, I recommend just going for the screens and attacking that first.
Well, let's pile drive the whole thing home. It's setting yourself up for success the night before so that you can get your next day off on the right foot.
It's all about efficiency.
And that clean desk the next day, that's the same concept. Get it done the day before so that you're not walking into yesterday's mess.
And do it more than once.
Yeah, consistent, and then you'll see the productivity improve over time.
Great. So this might be a little bit of an extended show this morning, but
I'm sure we've hit
probably
longer.
not, yeah.
We've probably hit longer.
anywho,
See you tomorrow.
later.
That was perfect. Thank you for listening to the Life Podcast Show. We really appreciate all your support. We meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning just to talk and share our perspectives on everyday life situations. If you haven't already, please share this with your friends and give them a chance to join the conversation. Also, if you liked what you heard today, rate our podcast. The higher the rating, the longer we can keep this going. And a special thanks to our future sponsors that will soon partner with us on this journey. If anyone would like to contact us, please email us at thelifepodcastshow@gmail.com. One word. That's thelifepodcastshow@gmail.com. Be blessed and have a wonderful day.